Hey there, how's it going? Today in this video, I'm going to talk to you about shadows. In fact, I'm going to talk to you about being the best shadow you can possibly be. The shadowest shadow of them all. Today in this video, we're going to be talking about how you can be a major pain in the behind for the immortals. How you can make Akiba herself proud of your shadowness. Today in this video, I'm going to teach you how to raid a vault like an absolute boss and come out with everything inside. Let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Nemo. Welcome to another Diablo Immortal video. Today, we're talking about raiding the vault. We're talking about being the best shadow you could possibly be. We're talking about testing the immortals, making sure that the keeper is proud of us, and being a major pro player in the raid the vault activity. That's right, today I'm going to give you all of the details, all of the pro tips and tricks, everything you need to know to take all of the essential you possibly can out of the vault to make sure that you cause havoc with the immortals and ultimately take them down with a fire of 1,000 suns. That's what I'm telling you about today. And remember, this video is going to be chaptered, so you can skip around anytime you like via those chapters. And then while you're down there, make sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and stay tuned for the latest Diablo Immortal content. So before we get into strategies, what is Raid the Vault, right? I have a full video, I'll link for you up top. In fact, I have a whole playlist on Cycle of Strife, Shadows, and all the activities. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you definitely want to make sure you check out that video. It goes into detail, as well as that whole playlist. It'll give you all of the information that you're going to need. So you get 3 other people together, preferably friends, preferably on voice or communication so you can chat with them about strategy, and you go in. Now remember, Night of the Living Shard is the ticket into the vault, Raid the Vault activity, and you want to make sure that you bring 3 other friends. It's best to go with a full party because you're going to be facing the immortals. You want to make sure that you're in full strength. So bring 3 friends with you that you can communicate with and get into this vault. So you jump into the vault with your friends. There are 4 floors on it. Each floor has a bunch of different NPCs. Some of the NPCs or guardians can ring an alarm. There'll be a bunch of different ones, and you basically have to go through and clear them floor by floor, killing them as well as making sure that you open the chests, which will give you a bunch of essentia, will give you honor, will give you gold, will give you a bunch of stuff, and you can collect all of that floor to floor to floor. Now, some of those ads or some of those guardians actually have an alarm feature in them where they will ring a bell. This bell will notify the immortals, who can then enter the vault 4 at a time, together in a party or solo. And basically this it goes from a PvE experience to a PvP experience, and you get to fight them. Those are kind of the things. Now, most of the time, it's going to be very difficult to get through all of the floors without letting the alarm ring, especially if the vault is at a high level, because as soon as you upgrade the vault on the immortal side, the NPCs become more difficult, the guardians, the alarms, all of that stuff gets more difficult. You're probably going to ring the bell. Maybe not. But there are different strategies to how you can approach this vault. Because the idea is you want to take out as much essentia, as much honor, and as much, gold as you possibly can. Because when the immortals enter the vault, and if they get to you and they kill you, all of the stuff that you have on you will drop. So everything that you have, you will drop when you die. Now, you can be resurrected by your party. If you have another person that's still alive, so if there's 4 people in the party, 3 of you die, but 1 person stays alive, that person can resurrect the rest of you. Kill the immortals, resurrect the rest of you, can continue moving. But if all 4 of you die, the vault is cleared, the immortals keep their stuff, and they continue on about their day. Now, if you clear the immortals, if you do beat all of those immortals, 4 of them at once, you have 300 seconds of clear reign, 300 seconds to run around and do whatever you want, pull as much stuff as you want before they can enter again. At the end of the vault, you have a guardian, like a vault guardian, kind of like a big boss that you have to kill to get all the rest of the essentia out. You have to loot all of the chests, kill all of the ads, make sure you get the last boss to get 100% of all of the essentia, gold, honor, and the rest of the good stuff out of the vault. Now, this is something that the immortals do not want you to do. They want to keep all of their stuff in there for obvious reasons. Again, I'll link some videos for you up top if you're not sure why. I'll show you and explain in those videos. Okay, so now that we have the overview, we understand what this Raid the Vault activity is. What are some of the strategies? What are some of the ways that we can make sure that we are more successful, that we can make sure that we test the immortals, that we win and get all of the stuff, because that is the key for the shadows, right? That's what we're supposed to be doing. Well, there are two major strategies that you can use, and I'm going to talk about each one. Okay, so strategy number one is going to be a raid and a run. That's right, that's what I'm going to call this strategy. It's the raid and run strategy. What this means is when the immortals enter the vault, you can leave. Like, you can literally just leave. There's a button on the top that says leave. So as soon as you loot and grab all of the stuff that you need, you can just extract the Essentia and then be out. If you all leave, the immortals can't get you. They can't get the Essentia. You can leave with what you gather before the alarm goes off, or even better, before the immortals enter the vault, because you do get a notification that says immortals entered the vault. You get one that says the alarm rings, and you get another one that says the immortals entered the vault. So technically speaking, if you're on a good side where they're kind of far away, and I mean, as soon as you get that alarm that says immortals entered the vault, you could just hit exit and just leave, right? The immortals on the other side would have to basically get to your location where you're exiting, where you have that mechanic, the portal mechanic, and interrupt you. If they hit you and interrupt you, you're not going to be able to exit. But if you do it fast enough, you can leave and you keep the Essentia. So if you really think about it, you could possibly get to easily a couple of floors. I would say probably 2 to 3 floors easily without really having to deal with the alarms. So a good strategy could be that you take 4 of your friends or 3 of your friends together. So 4 shadows jump in and you start raiding. You make sure that you empty out all of the Essentia from floor 1, from floor 2, and from floor 3. When you empty out all of that Essentia, the 4th floor is going to be probably most difficult. Either way, you can continue moving or just leave, but when the alarm goes off, you can all just hit exit and be out. If you're out, the immortals can't get you, and you're going to be able to get all of the Essentia. That's one technique that you can use versus having to fight. That technique is called raid and run. Now, some people might not be fans of this one. I have another one for you. But there are some pro tips that you can use here to be more effective. There are some things that you can do to kind of mess with the immortals. Here's a pro tip for you. How about you split up and only have certain people actually carry the Essentia? What do I mean by that? Well, let's say you have 4 shadows on the team. Let's have 1 or 2 shadows be the designated Essentia carriers. So as you're clearing out and getting rid of things within the level, the person that's carrying the Essentia is the one that's picking it up. That person is going to carry most Essentia they possibly can. When the immortals enter, now you could have 1 person or you could have 2 people. So you could have just 1 person do this, or you could have half of your party, the 2 people actually start having to carry the Essentia. I think just 1, but whichever. So when the immortals actually enter the vault, what you could do is that person that's carrying the Essentia is the one that could get out. Okay, that person could be the one that's out while the rest of you are protecting him. When the immortals get in, they're not really going to know who's got what, right? They're just going to start attacking. So if you have 2 or 3 people that are holding the immortals, and then your designated Essentia person is behind, you'll kind of know if you need to jump out really quick and exit. So you can have 2 or 3 people protecting and be kind of there as a funnel, as a stoppage for the last person who has the Essentia. And all case comes to worse, if things are getting bad, because you remember, you're all on voice, you're all chatting, right? You're all in communication with each other. Things go bad, that last person has extra time to leave while the immortals are busy with the first 3. That's a good way of doing it as well. But you look at me and say, Nemo, I don't want to do that. I don't want to run. I want to face those immortals. I want to take them out, baby. Okay, I like that. Strategy number 2 is stand your ground and fight. This is the strategy that we're picking right here in the video that you're watching, in fact. This is a strategy that I am a big fan of. So what happens here? You're going to be going in and you know that you're going in for a fight. So what you're going to be doing here is you're actually going to be ringing. You're going to be letting them ring the alarm on purpose at a specific time. A time that's going to give you the most advantage. A place that's going to give you the most advantage against the immortals. Remember, you're going to be working as a team together. A few things. One, of course, it's super fun, right? This is really exciting. But the key is you are on communications with each other. You are on comms. You are talking. There is a strategy involved here, and a big one. Let me explain. The most important thing is to have absolutely no fear, because it does not matter who the other immortals are on the other side. It doesn't matter if they're the best ones. It doesn't matter if it's the immortal and his lieutenants themselves. This strategy works, And it works because you are a team, you are a unit. You have no fear, but you come together with a strategy. You come together with a plan. That's right. So what is that plan? So most important things. Number one, you want to communicate with your team. So right here, we are on Discord voice, and you should figure out the most efficient way that you can talk to your teammates, because during the raid, it's important that you communicate. We are right here. So that's number one. Two, teamwork makes dream work, baby. That's right. I don't want to sound corny, but it doesn't matter what levels you're going against. So the immortals on the other side could be the highest immortals, but the teamwork is what's going to get us the win over here. In fact, we are going against the highest immortals. We were going against the immortal himself and some of his highest players. And most of us, in fact, I think the three of us are not even half as high as far as Paragon levels and other stats. Now, I'm not saying this in any other way. In fact, the folks on the other side are my friends. They're really awesome. Hippo is one of them. He's a really cool guy. I actually have a video where he clears the second Helicarrier boss by himself. I'll link it for you up top. You should check it out. He's a very cool guy. So, but as we're doing this, the bottom line is we are much weaker. The three of us, our three players, are much weaker, not even half as strong as the players on the other side. We still walk out with victory because we play as a team, because we came in with a plan, and that's what you have to do. If you want to win, if you want to really be in the strategy, bring your A game. Bring your A game. Let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so the setup. Pick whatever classes you want. In this case, we went with me as a wizard. We got a demon hunter, we have a barbarian, and a monk. Those are really important. These are my three friends, by the way, Teacher Man, Daldera, and we have Ice Cold in here. So we picked the three classes. We said, all right, it doesn't really matter if we're outgunned or outgeared, because we're going to come in with a plan. All right, so the plan is you're going to clear floor one, get into floor one, and completely wipe it out. Get rid of every guardian, get rid of all of the ads, get rid of all of the chests, get all of the essentia, and move on to floor two. Floor two is where you're going to make your stand. Floor two is where we're going to do the setup over here and invite immortals to us. Because remember, it's most important to bring the enemy to you. You want to be set up and you want them to come to you. You want to be the one that's sitting there on defense and hitting them as they come to you. So there's an important spot in this second floor that actually gives you the visual advantage. It gives you an advantage because when you're there, you have to look up and to the left. And when the immortals are coming down from the other side, they have to look down and to the right. It's a lot more difficult to attack that way. So a little bit of an advantage, but an advantage nonetheless. So this area right here that you're seeing, this is where you want to make your stand. This is where you want the immortals to come get you. Remember, you want to draw the enemy to you. Now, so what you want to do is clear the entire floor, get everything out of it, loot all of the essential, all of the stuff that you need, and leave one guardian, the last guardian, and let them ring the alarm. So as they ring the alarm, you run back to your spots and you take your positions. You also want to make sure that you pop your class buffs, right? Like the barbarian has a damage boost for the entire party, and then the demon hunter has I believe a speed boost, right? So you want to make sure that you pop those in a party together. Which gives you a little bit more of an advantage. Now, another reason why you're picking this spot right here on floor two, besides the whole tactical advantage and being able to see better, it's also in the middle right here. So what I mean by in the middle is if you lose this fight, it's the least amount of time spent. If you lose this fight, you're out and you didn't go that far, you didn't waste more time. So that's the one advantage to it. Number two, if you win the fight, or should I say when you win the fight after you see this guide, you're basically set up, because once you wipe out the 4 immortals, you have 300 seconds of free reign, and 300 seconds is more than enough time for you to basically rush, clear out the third floor, the fourth floor, and leave the vault before they can come back. So it's a really perfect spot when it comes to tactically, visually, and when it comes to the timing. Pretty much best spot right there. Second floor, that's why we picked it. Now you've gotten to the second floor. You wiped out all the ads, you rang the bell, and you are forcing the enemy to come to you. You are ready, you are set up with your trap, and you are very smart. You're smart because it almost, and I say almost because there will be situations where it doesn't work, but it almost doesn't matter what the levels of the other immortals are if you play your cards right. If you're playing the right way, you are funneling those immortals into a small area. You're funneling them into 2 hallways that they can possibly come at you with. When you have 4 players geared the right way, it doesn't really matter. You can funnel and just basically slam as much damage as you can into those hallways, CC them, close them in, and put them into a small area where your tanks can do the damage and can do the holding while your DPS sits behind and slams as much damage as possible on them. So in this case right here, we have Paragon 100 plus, enemies that are coming in. Me, for example, I'm Paragon 41. My damage, my offensive and defensive rating is 2,800 versus like 4,000 plus for all of these players. They're more than 50 plus Paragons higher than me. They're twice as much better than me with the gear. And of course, they have much better offensive and defensive rating. If they get to me, one shot and I'm dead. And you will see, of course, Hippo running to me. And as soon as he gets to me, he one-shots me and I'm dead. I understand that, and of course, when you're going against highest players, that will happen. But like the 300 did, with the 300 Spartans and Leonidas, if you're able to funnel them into a gate and slam them as much as possible, their numbers are not going to matter if you have the tanks and you're able to do this the right way. It gives you the most advantage, and that's kind of the reason why we picked this floor. That's the reason for this spot right here. If you can stand your ground and hold that fight, you have the most advantage. The other thing too is a lot of the Immortals might not be disorganized. A lot of the Immortals will just jump in and they'll rush you. And that's kind of what we're betting on here. Right? We're prepared, we're ready, we got our A game. We realize that most of those Immortals are just gonna run in face first without really a game plan, without really thinking, and probably gonna get destroyed because 1v4, it doesn't matter what their level is. Now, if there is a chance that you have an Immortal team that goes in and that is completely coordinated just like you are, that goes in with the right strategy, they could. And that will be a fun fight. And let me know down below how that works out. I would love to hear it. But long story short, most of the time, you're going to be able to take them out. And when you do, when you take out all 4 Immortals, you have 300 seconds to wipe out the rest of the vault. Now, the other key strategy to this is remember that only one of you has to survive, right? In this case right here, I knew that I was going to die. Like, I knew that. The whole plan, the whole game plan here was to make sure that we're able to cause as much damage as possible. If I'm able to black hole as much as possible, cause as much damage as possible, slow them down as much as I can in that corridor, right? With the monk and the barbarian and of course our demon hunter. If I'm able to do that and give them more time, even if I die, if at least one of us survives, they're going to be able to resurrect us and we can just keep going on our merry way. That's kind of exactly what happened here. Teacher Man is super OP, he's got really good gear and etc. As we're doing this, as we were playing, we were able to slow the Immortals down enough or get them damage. I did enough damage and I black holed 1 or 2 people enough. I was able to go out before I died. So if you really think about it, that was kind of my plan anyway. I knew that if Hippo or any of the other players got to me, it was going to be a one shot and I was going to die. There wasn't really much I can do about it with their levels and their gear, but we did, just like 300 and Leonidas, we were able to funnel them into a gate. And when we're able to do that, we have enough CC or enough abilities to slow them down, keep them in the center with our tanks, as we're able to just slam as much damage as possible. That's the plan anyway. The plan was, well, for me anyway, was to survive as long as possible, to slow them down, to damage them as much as possible before I went out in the blaze of glorious fire. The glorious death, so to speak. And that's kind of what happened. I ended up dying to Hippo's sword. And that's how it works. But that was the plan. The plan was I was going to black hole somebody. I was going to slow them down so the others were able to basically damage them. Because really the key is only for one person in your party that needs to survive. If they survive, or should I say when they survive and you take everyone else out, they can resurrect the other team members and you can go on your merry way. That's exactly what happened here. That was our plan here, is to funnel them, to slow them down, to CC them and damage them as much as possible before we die, because we knew, well I knew at least, that I was going down and most likely the teacher man was the one that was going to be the last person who was going to stay alive there. And our plan ended up working. Even though we faced much higher players than us, we were able to walk away with a victory because we had a plan, because we were in communication, because we decided to stand our ground and make sure that the odds were in our favor. We brought the fight to us versus the other way around. Those Immortals ran in, maybe, a little unorganized. Maybe some of them came in just by themselves. Of course, it's going to depend, right, who you're facing. But a lot of the times, if you come in with a team you are going to be facing, the Immortals that are maybe disorganized, you're going to be able to win a lot of the time. there could be a chance where the Immortals are in communications and they're ready, and maybe you will face a team that will give you the run for your money. And I'd love to know what happens. Of course, let me know down below if you ever do face a team like that. So that's the plan. If you're able to take down the Immortals on floor 2, which is by the way cleared, at that point you have 300 seconds to sprint, get floor 3 and 4 done, and get out of there before they can come back. I mean, that's really pretty much clean. The thing is, even if you die during this floor 2 fight, as long as one of your teammates stays alive, they can resurrect you. And like I said, you have 300 seconds, sprint to finish, get all of the Immortals, Essentia, get all of their gold, get their honor, get all the juicy stuff, and be out before they can come back in. Now, what do you think about this plan? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Would you change anything about it? Do you have your own plan that you execute? Let me know down below. I would love to hear it. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.